Hello and welcome to the next edition of the TMS podcast. I feel like I haven't been on in a while, but that's because Hollywood Cast, as we call him, has been doing a lot of guest appearances. So make sure you check him out on CPNY Sports. So that the YouTube is out, the audio is out as well. So make sure you check that out. Those are dope episodes, dope content that's happening over there. Even if it is New York stuff, we're gonna give credit where it's due. So Hollywood Cast, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing all right. And non-football or anything sports news, some new Star Wars is coming out, so I'm pretty pumped about that in about an hour. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. Giants are doing good. My Mets are not doing good, but that's okay. But just excited for football, actually.
Listen, both of our teams are in shambles. Okay. Yeah, we have a winning record, but once again, that's because the Yankees just happen to be worse than us finally this season. It's been a while since we could say that. Aaron Boone is probably on the way out. With the record they have, especially if they don't find a way to turn it around, which they're not going to this year. So it goes back to the take that's on our TikTok. You'll see it on the ticker here as we post this, but. Shohei Ohtani looks more and more like a New York Yankee by the day. This is what they do. Whenever they have a bad season, they're subpar by their standards. They go and make the biggest splash possible. That's what they did as kids. This is what they do. And this will be 14 years that they've won a World Series. So that's like 60 years in Yankee and Yankee territory. So I'm 97% sure he signs with the Yankees. It's a 97% book it. Like he's probably going there. So, but that's enough. Once again, I'm gonna get depressed if I do a full segment on baseball. But we got to address Mr. Colin Cowherd. And once again, I know that he made this list so that podcasters like ourselves will sit here and talk about it, because some things he got right, some things. I'm just like my brother in Christ. What are we doing? So if you don't know what we're referring to, last week Colin Cowherd made a list of the top 10 duos or quarterback wide receiver duos in the NFL. So for your refresher, if you didn't see it, I'll read them to you right now. So number 1 was Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Number 2, Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Once again, not a wide receiver, but okay. Number 4, Aaron. They haven't even played a snap together. Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. Number 5. Number 5. It gets more ridiculous as we go on. Derek Carr and Chris Olave at 5. Number 6, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Number 7, Kirk, my first cousins, as Uncle Shay would say, and Justin Jefferson. Number 8, Dakota Rain Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Number 9, Tua Tagovailoa, a.k.a. Mr. Concussion, and Tyreek Hill. And last but not least, from the Motor City, Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Wow. So, once again, you hear the influx of my voice, so you probably know which ones I was blown away from. But Aaron, Hollywood Cast, the floor is yours, sir. What were your thoughts on this list, man?
Well, it's just crazy. Trevor Lawrence is number 2, and Calvin, I believe, was suspended for a year. Unless he played last year, and I had no idea. So that's interesting. Same thing with the Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson. Haven't seen was Aaron Rodgers on the Jets last year? I don't remember that. I thought it was Zach Wilson and Mike White, but okay. And then Derek Carr, Chris Olave. I could have swore Derek Carr was in Vegas with Devontae Adams. I could have swore. I'm surprised he didn't put Jimmy Garoppolo and Devontae Adams on this. But I mean, I can't take this seriously because this is the same guy who put, I believe it was in that same week that Dwayne Haskins will never win a Super Bowl, and RIP Dwayne Haskins. And he saw it on his clicker. He saw it with all this. He didn't correct himself. Just left it. I was like, oh, okay.
So speaking of that, quick aside before we get back to his list. My boy Rec, there, like he mentioned to me that there was a new development in what happened. So apparently he was drugged.
I saw that too. Yeah.
That what like that so because I was wondering like, yo, as someone who lived in Florida, you don't walk the highways out there. Like that's not that's just not what you do. I don't care what state of mind you're in. So he clearly was obviously in an altered state, unfortunately, and that led to his his death unfortunately. But I'm like, damn, like that's people are really tapped, really weird, and just I said that's once again, it was already unfortunate enough that he had passed away the way that it happened, but to add on that there was more stuff that changed, his mind at that time was really unfortunate to see. But to continue the theme of things that's unfortunate, once again back to his list. The biggest, to me, the most egregious one on this list has to be number 2, in my opinion. Once again, Trevor Lawrence is really good. Once again, we know this. For those that listen to the OGs listeners of the show, I believe that Shay and I were clamoring for Trevor Lawrence to be. We wanted the Patriots to tank completely in 2020 and say, you know what, go and get Trevor Lawrence, and you have your guy for years to come. It didn't work out that way. Once again, we'll see what Mac 10 is able to do, and not the guy from West Side Connection. We'll see what he's able to do. So I don't know. To me, maybe Calvin Ridley and Colin Cowherd said, hey, let's put a bet on how many people will be mad that you put me in the top 3. I know they had their differences, but the fact that you got Josh Diggs. Well, yeah, we're talking about duo. So Josh, right? You have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs at number 6. Like, what are we doing, Colin?
Where's the Jalen Hurts and like either AJ Brown or Devontae Smith? I could take that over Derek Carr, Chris Olave, especially at number 5. But do you think that Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson should be in the 1 to 5? I guess. Because Kirk Cousins is average.
Well,
at best.
I think Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the game. I do. I know people feel it's Devontae. People feel that it's maybe somebody else. Maybe it's Dick. I don't know. Justin Jefferson, when he's on, I think he's the best guy in the game. And Kirk is he's not a guy that. I mean, and we say average, but I'm like, this dude is going to end up with maybe 50,000 yards or more in his career. Like that to me, and once again, everyone knows, if me and Aaron off camera, like you went to school with us, or you had conversations with us in Boomers. Shout out to Boomers. I'm an RG3 guy, always will be. I don't care what happened in his career. I mean, he's definitely turned into the Paul Pierce of football players, meaning with his wild takes online. But as a player, RG3, like I said, coming from Baylor, coming to the Washington Redskins, he was making me a fan like immediately. Mike Shanahan got it right. Like, he got it right. I mean, it's only because like RG3 got hurt, but he saw that Kirk Cousins was more conventional. And once again, 11 years later, Kirk Cousins is still giving numbers. Once again, he's in the Ryan Tannehill category. Like, he's not gonna give you, a Super Bowl, but are you gonna get 9 to 11 wins? He's gonna throw for 4,000 yards. Yeah, he's gonna be. And I don't know what guy to compare him to from back in the day. I don't know, maybe like a Jeff Garcia type, but he's not really a runner. Maybe he's like a Donovan McNabb type guy. Maybe something like that. Someone that's going to get you the 4,000, 3,500, 4,000 yards. Never going to wow you with their skill set. Even though, I know McNabb was a top 5 pick in '99. I get that, but I'm just like what he turned out to be. He wasn't someone that wows you every time on the field. With that, but yeah, you could argue them being higher to answer your question, but I think to me, I would think Goff and St. Brown are a little low. I thought they were really good last year, so I feel like they deserve to be in the top 10. But I think at 10, they could have taken Olav and Derek Carr's spot. That they should those two, Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, and then Chris Olave and Derek Carr. That should not be on the list. That should not be on the list.
Absolutely not.
Like, and I'm like, and my thing is, they should just say he should have said quarterback and then number one target, because once again, Travis Kelce, as phenomenal as he is, he's not a wide receiver. He's not. So just say number one target. Now, and what I'm about to say to you, you're gonna be like, what? Can't believe you said this on air. So I watched because I just got into their show with him and his brother called New Hikes. That's a really good show. They're better than I expected, to be honest. At it, Jason's a really good host. But I saw the show with him and Gronk. Gronk came on there, and they talked about, Jason brought it up because he was just like, oh, like, well, once and for all, who's the better, tight end? And so Rob was giving him his flowers, and Travis was giving Rob his flowers. But listen, I'm always gonna ride with 87. Like, the Patriots 87, Rob Gronkowski, because once again, I'm a Patriots fan. Saw what he did. But because of skill and now longevity, Travis Kelce has passed Rob Gronkowski. I know that people will listen to say, what is wrong with you? Or something that some people will agree with me. But Travis Kelce has surpassed Rob Gronkowski. He just doesn't have the rings. But the way that Mahomes and them are going, like it's coming. And that's another thing. How can people damn near unanimously say that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback that ever lived? They don't say Brady now. They don't say Montana. They don't say Peyton Manning. They don't say Dan Marino. They don't say, let's go even further. Well, they don't say anyone like Otto Graham, Northern Brooklyn. None of that. They don't bring any of those guys up.
They don't even say the welfare queen, Brett Favre.
Yeah, but yeah, him too. Yeah, I mean, there was a stretch. There was a stretch when he was the best in the league. So I mean, once again, on the field, what he's done. And another quick aside. Shout out to y'all if they keep listening to that, because that episode keeps getting downloads. I don't know. We did that. We did that one. I don't know what was said on that show. Maybe y'all just, I don't know, y'all resonated with the title. I don't know. But thank y'all for keep listening to that one. We have a few ones, like episode 8, that was like years ago. Y'all still listen to that too, or download it. So hey, thank you. So I don't get the rhyme or reason, but hey, if you resonate with the episode, we thank you. We appreciate you. But listen to the new stuff too. It's pretty good. But so just keep listening. But whatever got you on the bandwagon, we ask that you stay there. So yeah, so I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. I just think, to me, you can't say he's the best guy in the league and you have him number 3. I just, that to me is crazy. Hey, him and Kelce are the best duo in the league. Period. Now Burrow and Chase number 2 though. I just think that Jefferson to me is the best receiver in the game. But once again, as a duo, I'm going Mahomes, then Burrow and Chase.
Well, speaking of duos, how do you feel about Mac Jones and his new set of receivers and duos that he's going to try to create? Because it looks like there's like a battle between, I believe I'm saying it wrong, but is it Keyshawn Butte from LSU, the draft pick?
Keyshawn Butte.
Keyshawn Butte, sorry. It feels like they're getting a connection. He might not even be on the roster. You obviously brought in.
He's got to make it.
You obviously brought in Juju on the beat.
Did you see the touchdown against Green Bay? Did you see that?
Yes, I did see it. Yes.
So they don't have that on the roster. They don't. I'm sorry. I listen. You can say, Ray is overreacting. Fine, cool. You watch that tape. See that, and I'm telling you once again, and this may be over exaggeration. I don't care. And once again, we know what school he went to. He went to LSU, right? that slant and he caught that looked a lot like his former teammate Jamar Chase. That looked like him. That looked like Jamar Chase running down the field once he caught it. Now, once again, am I saying he's going to be that? No, but LSU was turned into wide receiver U the last few years. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. So yeah, he's got to make it. Trey Nixon, my brother, it's time. You got to go. I'm trying to think who else is on there. That Trey Nixon for sure. I know it's got to go. They got Bill. I know you don't do this usually because you prioritize Slater and some other guys over. And I get it. You got to keep 6 receivers this time. I'm sorry, like it's there. So Juju, Kendrick, Devontae, Thornton, and then Douglas and Butte. Like that. That's your receiving core. Pop Douglas looks like a guy that's going to be the new element for us. I hope so because he has all the way he runs routes is crazy. Now, did I still want Zay Flowers? Absolutely. After what he did last night against Washington Lord, I was like, man, he's going to be a problem as well. But yeah, the offense clearly has improved. Like that. That's not.
Is it because of Bill O'Brien or just what they've brought around? Like the Mike Gesicki's and all that.
Yeah, probably both. I mean, Gesicki hasn't even really played because he had the shoulder, but yeah, you could tell. I mean, the offensive line. And I heard you talk about some of your guards on the New York show last week, but the Patriots have to stay healthy off. And once again, I know that's cliche because everyone offensive line does, but you got some teams that got some really good backups, so they can be like, okay, they can plug and play for a little bit. New England does not have that option. Joe Andruzzi not walking through that door. Mike Compton not walking through that door. Damian Woody not walking through that door. Stephen Neal not walking through that door. Dan Copen not walking through that door. So there's a lot of guys that they kind of found off the street. They drafted late and was like, oh, okay, Patriots had the best line or one of the best lines for years. That's not the case now. So to me, Onwenu, I'm sorry, Kelvin Anderson and Riley Reef, I don't care. Michael Onwenu is your starting right tackle. And Bill needs to pay him like that because he's been the best lineman outside of David Andrews. So take care of that man. Because you didn't take care of Shaq Mason, you didn't take care of Joe Tooney. So take care of him when he's the next guy up, in my opinion.
And we're saying that Strange is a good thing.
Yes, he showed. So from the what game was that last year? From the Green Bay games, that was week 4 last year. So from week 4 on, like he had some penalties that you were like, but for the most part, like he was really good at pass protect. He's even better as a run blocker, which we're going to need, because obviously with signing Zeke and Stevenson clearly is our number one, but we're going to need that now more than ever. But yeah, I just think to me, keep those 6 guys. I don't, like I said, Onwenu, maybe Riley Reef at the guard. I don't know, or I don't know who they're gonna put the right guard, but it's to be Onwenu, whoever you're gonna put at right guard. David Andrews at center, Cole Strange at left guard, and then Trent Brown at left tackle. So that's probably their best 5. Whoever, I don't know who they're gonna have play right guard. I say go trade for somebody, but I know how Bill is. He's already committed $8 million to Reef and Anderson. Those guys are going to play at some capacity. I hate it because neither one of them are good. Oh, McDermott. I'm sorry. McDermott probably be the right guy. Sorry, I forgot. McDermott was really good for us towards the end of last year. So maybe he becomes the guy. But Connor McDermott cannot be the right tackle. If he's going to be the right tackle, Mac Jones will be in the seats like you and me watching the game.
Yeah, this isn't the U. He can't play tackle. This is in college.
Yeah, so he has to be a guard.
Interesting. Yeah, do you think that Malik Cunningham is going to stay on the roster? Because now there's a new rule where you can have a third quarterback for like an emergency type. He played good in week 1 of the preseason, but week 2, it was all Bailey Zappi. So I was a little confused of what Bill Belichick was trying to do right there. So do you think Malik Cunningham gets a roster spot?
So, you follow some stuff on New England because either we retweet stuff or obviously the other thing I do is more New England based. Everyone had bought Malik Cunningham stock after that first game. Especially after that TD run, it was like, oh, we never seen this up here ever. Like, well, since Michael Bishop. And that was almost 25 years ago. He's Lamar Light, and once again, pun intended, because he also went to Louisville. And in a good way, if there's a loophole that can be found, Belichick's going to find it. So I'm hoping that they find a way to keep him on the roster. Because when you face teams like Baltimore, when you face teams like Philadelphia week 1, teams that can run the RPO, teams that can, go for that QB, dive right away, like you need someone that can emulate that. He's very shifty.
I mean, his junior year, I believe he rushed for 1,000 yards and scored 20 touchdowns as a quarterback for Louisville. So.
Yeah, facts. So it's just like that to me. You got to find a way to get that guy there. Maybe and once again, Bill saw it because I think he gave him like $150,000 signing bonus. That never happens up here. To an undrafted guy at that. Bill Belichick give 100 guaranteed, not we'll see what you could do. He gave him $150,000 guaranteed offer. So that lets me know that Bill was like, hey, we may not have a spot for you right now, but you're someone that we could see being, I don't know if they do like some gadget plays with him. Maybe he becomes like Antoine Randall for a little bit. I don't know. But I think to me, I can totally see him doing what Randall did at Super Bowl 40 with that well, it wasn't a flea flicker, but that play that he threw. Edelman did it too. That pass to Amendola, and then what Randall did to Hines Ward in Super Bowl 40. I can totally see him fulfilling that type of role. I don't know if they run a lot of gadget plays or gimmick plays because that was more of a McDaniels thing. He was huge on that. I think that he got off on running gimmick plays, whether they worked or not. But yeah, I like I said, I like you asked about what's the difference. I think it's a mix of what Bill has done, what the offense is trying to do. But yeah, find a way to keep Malik Cunningham. Keep him. I think that he is someone that can be dynamic for this offense in the future.
Nice. Yeah, well, I said it last week for week 1 on CPNY Sports Pod. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. I'm on it. Me and the dude Chris. He does New York content for Mets, Knicks, Giants. We're starting up that with the Giants, and we might be starting up a Rangers thing. But anyway, so I think for us, we're going to keep this nice Italian Tommy DeVito. Mm-hmm. The last time we had a Syracuse backup quarterback was Ryan Nassa when we drafted him, I believe, in the 4th round for Eli Manning. So we're looking pretty good offensively. Again, Evan Neal, Andrew Thomas cannot get hurt. We literally have nobody in the depth wise. Yeah. Same thing with the guards. It's kind of funny. We signed Mark Glowinski last year for a 3-year deal, and it looks like he might get pushed out. So it's like it's weird. He's better as a run blocker than a pass blocker, and you're a guard. How are you better at running than passing? It blows my mind. Love the rookie that we drafted out of Minnesota, Smits. He is nasty. So I love that he's picking up when twists come in on the defensive side. He's getting it. He's picking it up quick. Some pancakes. So far, knocking on wood right now. Nothing happened to Daniel. Daniel's looking sharp. Just saw he put on 10 pounds of muscle.
Nice.
And he's still running the way he is. Darren Waller's going to be nice. Paris Campbell's going to be nice. Jalen Hyatt, I really hope we cut David Sills because I want him to wear number 13. I feel like he gives me the Odell vibes without the marrying the gold net. Yeah,
I thought about you. I know that you mentioned that you wanted to see him do well. I saw that touchdown he scored, and I was like, oh, okay, like he pops out the screen. A little quicker than I thought. because he creates separation better than I thought. Like I knew he was good at Tennessee, but I was like, oh, okay, like he's a little, and maybe because he's been working on speed now that he only has to worry about the NFL.
What's my skill set though?
Huh?
What's my skill set though? That's what they told him on his pro
Oh,
day. The
God,
Dallas scout. What's my skill set though?
right?
But I can
Yeah,
run routes though.
yeah.
I believe that was a route that he scored.
Yeah, no facts. No, it looks like he creates separation better than I envisioned. So yeah, definitely may have got them one there. We'll see. And we talked about this off the air, but I'll ask now. Hey, Rob said he'll come back. For Brian Dable. Dable was his coach in New England, I think, for a little while. So, Gronk and Waller at the tight end. Gronk is your tight end too.
Don't need him on my Twitter handle. I'm Bellinger82 season, and it's Bellinger82 season's coming because Bellinger can block better. He's younger. He's got the visor on this year. He put on muscles. You seen that preseason photo of him with his muscles? Oh my God! Listen, I said this also on the. Yeah, but Gronk's old. He hasn't played in like a year and a half. So if it was like 10 years ago, yeah, I would take him. But this is 10 years ago.
Yeah, but you don't. That's the thing though. Like you don't need him to be same thing with. I'll talk about Zeke in a minute, but since we're talking about Giants right now, like you don't need him to be 2015 Gronk. You don't need him to be. He 30 to 40 catches, which he can still do in his sleep easily. Because once again, Waller's going to be the guy. Waller's a very good number one option. I think he's going to do great down there, up there, I should say, up in New York. So, yeah, why not? Why not? Once again, you go because he said it on. He said it on the show too. It was like just play me from the 40 and in, and I'm like that'd be perfect. Goal line Gronk, are you kidding me? Daniel Jones being a 6'5", he's going to find him. And, once again, listen, Rob Gronkowski is the most unstoppable force I've ever seen in the goal line.
Not now.
That's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Yeah, this is 2015 Gronk.
I see it time and time again. And it's fresh in my mind because I was just watching his highlights after the interview I saw with him and Travis Kelce. I think about that play in Washington. Once again, I know that was early in his career. I think about that play in Washington when that guy tried to tackle him on the first down and he legit ran for 20 yards. I think about the play in y'all stadium at MetLife when the year that Edelman got hurt in the first half and Brady threw that bomb to Gronk and when he could still run away from people, I was just like, oh my God, like we haven't seen that. And I know, once again, I get it. I still stand by what I said about Kelce earlier. And, there's other guys at the tight end position that are really good. When Gronk wants to play and says, I'm the guy out here, I think he still could perform at a high level. And that would be scary for your division if Gronk says, okay, I'm going to get in shape and I'm going to play for the Giants. He's from New York. He's from there. He's from Uniondale. So it's not like, I know he said I think he talked about playing for the Bills, but he was like, yeah, he's like, I'll play. I think if he can come back, you take the flyer. Once again, if he doesn't produce, then you let him go. But I think that's worth the fight. He's 32. It's not like he's 37. He's 32 years old.
He's just got too much. It's just too much miles on him, which is kind of sad.
Go in those situations. Go line. You only got playing 15.
Bellinger had a pretty good job last year doing that, so I don't have any worries about that.
Yeah, once again, I'm not knocking this Bellinger guy. Listen, the only Bellinger right now I acknowledge that I know of is Eric Bellinger, who's an R&B artist.
I'm surprised you didn't say Cody Bellinger. I thought you were going to say that.
Oh yeah, Cody Bellinger. Yeah.
MVP / World Series champ. But the most important thing I'm excited for is the rookies. Yes, rookies starting at the corner position in Deontay Banks and an actually good Old Dominion defensive player in Trey Hawkins. Apparently Wink has so much confidence in these two that they're going to play both the corners while Dory Jackson plays the nickel. So if Wink Martindale has confidence in these two, I will have confidence in them. But so far in the preseason, I know it's preseason, but Deontay Banks has not let a receiver catch a pass in, I think, 26 attempts.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's hard. What you got Scary Terry in your division. You got CeeDee Lamb.
I'm actually not really worried about Scary Terry. It's kind of weird. It's just
Well, I
because
mean, I
of
know
what
you.
Washington does. I feel like they're going to use more Jahan Dotson like they were like last year, but I'm not sure what Bieniemy's going to do.
I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of gadget play. I mean,
And they still have
surprisingly,
Curtis Samuel.
yeah, that's true. Your boy, Sam Howell looked good the other night, though.
Jag.
Good. Yeah.
Jag.
Hey, if there's anybody that can, once again, obviously he's I don't know how long Bieniemy was there. But even like I said, even Alex Smith looked like a guy that could. Once again, I get it, he was in more picks. I don't want to sound disrespectful, but he wasn't really he never lived up to what he was supposed to be, fully. He played for a long time, and it was cool to see him come back from that injury once he got to Washington. But I'm sure the enemy will put him in positions to be successful offensively. And once again, they have decent weapons. It's not like they have. It's not like they're lacking at the skills positions. But just overall, I feel like them, and then obviously, what we know what CD can do. Is Gallup still there? Gallup still there in Dallas? I don't know if you said. I haven't
Yeah, but
watched it.
Brandon Cooks is going to be your number
But
2.
that's right. Yeah, but
That's going to be nice for fantasy wise.
sure, it's going to be nice. But I feel like, and once again, maybe I'm bitter. I'm bitter because they let him go before they should have. Listen, he got knocked out in the Super Bowl, but I mean, listen, we're not there that year against Philly without the contribution of Brandon Cooks. We're not.
Isn't it crazy though? He goes to the Super Bowl now, one gets hurt, goes to the Rams, doesn't win a Super Bowl. It was almost like back to back.
Yep.
And then goes to the Texans just to kind of rot. And then now he's on Dallas, who's not going to do anything either.
Yep. I mean, it was wild because it's just like, I mean, they had not had a guy like that in Dallas since Dak's been there. Because I mean, he's still gonna take the top off the defense. In my opinion, when he's healthy. So we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds. But I mean, the NFC East is always, whether teams have great records or not, will always be difficult. We joke about it saying call it the NFC East, but those teams are gonna it'll be knock them out, drag them out type type battles every week. So looking forward to that.
I mean, speaking of battles, you had the privilege of seeing your first UFC fight. Pay-per-view, I should say, live. Yeah. Watch it. So, is the UFC a little bit better than wrestling live, or kind of the same?
Well, I mean, definitely more action. Obviously, I think sometimes when you see it on, like how the camera angles for WWE, like because you can only hear like the mat when they slam somebody on the mat, like it's pretty quiet unless you hear someone music drop or you hear guys count, 1, 2, 3, and then when they don't go to 3, you hear in the crowd, you hear like 2, sweet, which is an NWO reference. But no, that crowd was. I mean, I've been to a WrestleMania, so it's a little different. Like that.
That's why I asked you.
That crowd is on fire, really, the whole 5-6 hours. So it wasn't that. But it was electric. I would not sit here and act like it wasn't. That crowd was out for blood from 5:30 on, and I was like, wow. Cause I wasn't up there the whole time because we let people in and then we come upstairs. And so the first match I got to really see was the Ian Gary match. I didn't know who he was beforehand. He's the real fucking deal. I was like, whoa. He just kept bopping on that dude's head, and I was like, damn. Like I was like, at some point, man, throw in the towel, bro. It's okay. You had nothing else to prove.
Listen, I've seen dudes snap their arms and still want to go. So
yeah,
he was not going to.
Yeah, the nastiest injury I saw, because once again, I only saw the highlight. I didn't watch the actual fight when it happened. Was with Spider Silver. I remember when that happened. When he jumped, I think he jumped in the air, and then like that shit just like went the other way. That shit was ugly. Excuse me, but yeah, Ian Gary, and listen, I can say this because once again, I mean, we're not Cam and Mace, but it is it is what it is, and we do say what the fuck we want. Those last 3 or 4 fights seem racially motivated. like,
Oh god.
I'm like all the people of color got their ass wet. It's like, damn. Like, I don't even remember who Gary faced, but listen, but by the time they got to the main event, and listen, another quick aside, because you can hear my excitement, right? Because like I said, this is all new to me. And I know who he was. His brother is Michael, but yo, Bruce Buffer, man, Bruce Buffer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event. Sean Sugar. What, that shit had me ready to. I was ready to run through a fucking wall for Bruce
Dude,
Buffer.
he does that for all of them. That's how he rolls.
He is. And once again, I'm a WWE fan. I've heard Howard Finkel, who's phenomenal, Tony Chemmel, who's phenomenal, Lillian Garcia, and now they have newly they have Samantha Urban, who's really great. But listen, Bruce Buffer is on another fucking level. Like I was ready to get in the ring when I think, and because the whole crowd was doing it with him. That was so. It was cool to see 18,000 like. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening. It is for the bantamweight. I was like, dog, this dude is he's great. He's great. So I was like, and people was getting like there was fights all evening. Like, let me tell you, and TD God, I'm sorry if I'm putting this out there, but whatever. It ain't like a lot of y'all listen to this, so it's okay. Y'all just follow the show. Y'all don't listen all the way. So I can say this. The best fight wasn't even in the octagon. Shout out to Section 10. I ain't gonna say who. Shout out to Section 10. If you know, you know. I'm sitting there. I'm in my hype. I'm enjoying Bruce Buffer, and all I hear is, hey, hey, Buchanan, come over to Section 10. We got a situation. And I'm like, what the fuck? I said, I waited for this all night. I'm into it. I'm like, I'm ready to become a fan. I'm at the I bought a ticket. Like, I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. I get over there. This is not an exaggeration. I see a guy literally raise up like a Superman type punch and just go pop, pop. Dude's eye, literally, I mean, the bubble was like out here. His Jesus. Eye is like this. And he's just like, man, fuck you, pussy. I said, oh, man. I said, you go home, right? It's over. Like, I said, you went all night to see Sugar, Sean O'Malley, and you go home before the main event. That's a tough scene, buddy. Like, so the best way was even in the octagon. That dude got his like, damn. He the only white guy that lost that night.
Oh, Jesus.
The only white guy that lost. I was just like, damn, what happened? But no. Listen, I will be watching more. That's so I'm sold. I'm sold. Once again, I've seen highlights. I even had a video game back in the day because I remember getting into it like when Brock went over there, because obviously Brock had me tuned in because I'm like, oh, I want to see how he does over there.
Oh yeah, that was like the 2010 one.
Yeah,
I've played that one.
CM Punk was fucking terrible, so he was bad. But I think about him. I knew Randy Couture, I knew Chuck Liddell. Obviously, my guy Kimbo Slice. Who wasn't even great, but because he was just great with Street Fighter, like, oh, let's just see how he would do. But he was crazy in the game. Kimbo Slice was like unfucking beatable in the actual game. But Spider Silver, obviously Conor McGregor. So there was more fighters I knew of the name. I didn't actively watch Amanda Nunes, obviously Holly Holm, stuff like that. So I knew of names, I just didn't watch actively. But let me tell you, after seeing how Sean O'Malley beat that man, like he stole something, because that's what it was. You know how you see somebody steal something, you see someone come out, it's like come here, boy. Let me talk to you for a second. And he just come here. like he tuned him up. So yes, I sound like remember that video that went viral on well, let's say I'm always gonna call it Twitter. I'm not gonna call it X. It was on Twitter when the black guy first found out about hockey, and he was just like, "Wait, y'all just gonna the goalie just said fuck it." I'm out. Like that. That's how I felt Saturday night. I'm like, oh, like so they just not gonna stop this shit. Like they just gonna let him get they don't let him get rocked like this.
Oh yeah, they do that.
Yeah, no,
it depends though, like on situation. Like I've seen it with Zhang Wei Li. She was defending her title, and no, she didn't defend it. She lost it, and then she went for another one against Rose Namajunas, and Rose Namajunas literally kicked her in the face. Done.
Yeah,
and she wanted to keep going, and they were like, nope, no, you're unconscious. Same thing with the it was the Gaethje fight that happened 2-3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Literally a second round, dude, he jumps, kicks right in the face, and he wins it. It's crazy. It can happen just like that. I feel like your favorite would be John Bones Jones.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Jones's brother.
Yeah, I do want to see him eventually. I know he probably doesn't have many fights left because he's older, but I definitely would like to see him once in the octagon. But what was crazy, because I heard people yelling it in the crowd. I heard people yelling it on social media. It's pretty wild to me that a lot of y'all were crying about the early stoppage. You get in there. Once again, he caught the man wide open. And it's not like it's not like he was like this. For those that's gonna watch this on YouTube, it ain't like he had. And I'll give the illustration for those who listen to the audio. Like, it's not like he had his hands clenched to his face and he was blocking a punch. The man came in wide open, like he was giving the man a hug. And Suga said, "Oh yeah," bong to the jaw, and he flatlined that man. And then he kept just bong. He's hitting him to the dome. And this is not LL Cool J rapping metaphorically about 14 shots to the dome, which is one of the best hip hop songs of all time. You know, listen to that if you ever have a chance to. This wasn't that. This was real life. It's real life. He bong to his dome, and y'all mad about an early stoppage? Like, the man could have fucking died in a ring. This is not Rocky. This is not if he dies, he dies. This is not one of those. So I don't know.
I mean, UFC fans think that. So
no fact. I now once again, now that I've seen it live, I get it. Because fans was like, "Yo, like what the fuck?" But I'm like, really? Like, are y'all really just mad about this? Like, this dude, we literally could have been the next day on SportsCenter saying, you know, we want to send our condolences to, you know, Aljamain Sterling and his family. You know, he was a great strawweight or bantamweight, sorry, whatever, not strawweight. That was the girls' fight. Sorry, bantamweight fighter, 135 pounds. Like, I get it. That could have happened the next day if they had let him keep dealing with him like that. So I'm once again, that man.
I mean,
the
UFC refs are pretty good at not getting it like that escalated quickly. They'll I've seen them stop it in like 20 seconds.
Like this, and you see it. Like, when you see your fatality coming, like, and thank God you and I have never been there, right? When you see your fatality coming like that, it's like, once again, you ain't been there. So yeah, you want to see blood, but I'm like, dog, this man could have had fucking brain damage, bro. Like, what's wrong with you? Same thing in WWE. Like, they throw up this sign there. Like, when someone gets hurt for real, they throw up the X sign. But like, to see guys get thrown off the top rope or thrown into a table, like, you don't. This is not it's not acting class when you get taught how to fall. Like, you legit. Like, I think about when Mankind years ago got thrown off the Hell in a Cell onto the table. There's no way to fake that. Like, you can't fake shit like that. That's a real thing. So it's just like, you know, I think about it then. I'm surprised they didn't stop the match all them years ago, but like, now they probably would have, because I know they'd have been like, it's lawsuits or whatever. But in 1998, folks didn't care. It was like, fuck it, we're gonna do whatever. But either way, I'm a fan. Now, once again, I wasn't even a casual. I was below a casual, like at damn near zero. This I'll be watching more once again, even if it's just highlights on YouTube at the least.
If you have ESPN Plus, they have most of the fights, even if it's not pay-per-views.
Got you. Okay,
they got really good ones. The next ones that are coming up is Adesanya getting Strickland. I think that's going to be a good one, because Adesanya was right up in Strickland's face when he won. I don't think it was a pay-per-view. It was about a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. He went up against him. My man Islam Makhachev's coming in October 21st. He'll be in Abu Dhabi, and they are crazy up in Abu Dhabi against Oliveira. So that's going to be going too.
Well, then again, no, never mind. WWE's going over there too, but I'm surprised that they're letting that be seen, like, because that I know that they're very
the UFC.
Yeah, because they're very. I mean, even with
they
WWE,
love it there.
no, but even WWE, no, they love WWE too. That's why I'm surprised. I'm like, I said because they don't come covered like that. I mean, they come covered to the like you're not gonna fight in a hijab, like that's not happening. So I always thought that was like because even like the women fighters are super covered up in WWE, but I'm like for UFC like they're wearing shorts and a halter top. So I'm like I
Well,
don't know.
they have a lot of Russians that are Islamic, or
Mm-hmm.
they're from Russia, but there's not. I don't think there's a lot of women fights that happen in
Got you.
Abu
Okay.
Dhabi. I haven't seen a lot. It's just all men, so it should be fine.
Got
But
you. Okay.
that's gonna be a good one because Islam's defending his belt again. He's 24-1, and I wouldn't say he beat the crap out of Olivier the first time, but it was pretty close. So I think it's gonna be
Got you.
another good
Okay.
one.
Yeah. I mean, listen, um my only and once again it's not boxing, so it's different, but I would like to see full gloves. That's just me. That's just me. I'd rather see full gloves. Like I said, you keep the rest of the apparel or the attire. I would like to see full gloves. I don't know, just something about someone getting bought with the boxer glove and then getting like getting kicked in the getting kicked in the face, whatever. Like that would be pretty cool to see. I kind of hate that. I don't like to have gloves. That's just me. But other than that, I like I said once again, they earned a new fan. Like I said, Sean O'Malley is real.
I
And
mean,
Gary,
he's only real because they were hyping. They've been hyping him up for like 2 3 years.
listen,
There was literally a guy. Okay, there was literally a guy that my friend TJ knew. It was like his cousin.
mhm,
I swear, O'Malley had 106 hits on this dude. You want to know how much this dude had on O'Malley?
I
Three.
mean, wow.
Three. They had to stop it, I believe, in the third round with like 3 minutes to go because this
Mm.
dude was just getting fucking pummeled by O'Malley.
But that's the thing though.
106 hits, bro.
So my thing is once again, I'm naive, right? I don't know. So so when they're coming in with the Irish flags, they're coming in with the afros, the sugar change. So I'm like, damn, I'm like, who is this guy typing? So I'm like, they're all here from Malik. Got it. So I didn't know that he was from Arizona because the way listen, and once again, for those that are familiar with Boston, like obviously it's a big Irish community, and a majority of them are from Southie, which is South Boston. Um, so I thought for sure this man grew up at Packy's. Shout out to Packy's, that old fashioned restaurant down over on Blue Hill Lab. Shout out to Packy's. Shout out to Packy's. Shout out to O'Connor's. All that, right? I shout out to Sullivan's Tap. Like I thought he was from that area. So when I seen the flags and like I said, 18,000. Like this is not an exaggeration. I'm telling you, if Sterling had found a way to win that match, I'm 98% sure he doesn't get out of TD Garden alive. And I'm not exaggerating. I know that sounds crazy because none of the shit they were saying in the stands, they would never say to his face. He would have beat their ass. Because they were talking real crazy, real crazy. Like I thought WWE fans were on some shit, and they are. Especially when it's certain wrestlers they don't like. Oh my god. But this UFC shit is different. I was like, oh y'all, I told the guy, I said, oh, you think you can go in there and beat Sterling? Oh, you think? I said, I would love for you to walk down to the octagon and say what you just said about that man to his face and see he don't put your ass in a sleeper hole. I said, because you ain't doing shit. I said, even at $130, I said he would tune your ass up.
I can only imagine what happened. I believe it was Texas, the last pay-per-view or two pay-per-views that I watched, and like Donald Trump was there, Dana White was there. I can only imagine what was being said in those matches.
Yeah, it was yeah, that was like I said, that's one of the more hostile crowds. And once again, I'm there for once again, I was there when Kyrie returned. So I've seen hostile Boston crowds. This was at the top of the list. Like the shit that y'all be saying about Boston, y'all think about Boston, it was solidified Saturday night. That was full on. That they called Sterling everything but the N-word. Pussy. Yes, I was like, wow. Wow. Even the other guy that Gary beat, they didn't even get on him like that. I said, damn.
Yeah, Neil. What was it? Neil
Oh, Neil that's what it was.
something.
Mag, that's the name.
Neil,
So,
yeah, Neil Magny.
you let the black delegation down, Neil Magny. I want to put that out there. He was jumping around the ring. I said, are you Floyd? Are you Floyd Mayweather? Like, what are we doing?
Sometimes you just gotta find your right spot. Sometimes
Fuck that.
if you get the right spot, you're good.
Guess what? He didn't find a spot all night because literally as soon as he got close to Gary, bot. Come closer again. Oh, you running? Oh, let me kick you in the leg. Bot. Oh, now, come on. Scary. Once again, from the hood, I know when someone's scared. That man was dancing around. He was dancing around like he was about to break dance, and he paid for it. So I was surprised that went close to the distance. I thought that they could have stopped that earlier too, but because the only reason why I went to distance is because Neil kept dancing. But he got whipped because once again when we heard it's like and now I think that was a 3-round, but that wasn't 5 because it wasn't a championship thing. But it was like
3.
It was like and it's like and it was like 50-42, 50-44, 50-40, like and the winner by unanimous decision, Ian the Future Gary. And I was like, yeah, like, was there any doubt? Last said Neil was running around like a little bitch. Like he was scared. He was scared. So Neil, you let the black delegate down.
Yeah, another scare fight that happened was the Moreno versus Pantoja that happened. I think that was the pay-per-view I'm thinking of. Moreno champ played like he fought like absolute dog shit, like he didn't want the title because it was his belt, and Pantoja actually beat him twice before.
I think
one before they actually became, because there's like a minor league of UFC, so they were in that. He lost to him again when they came up in UFC, and then lost to him in this championship. And it's the same thing what you're just saying with Magny, but this was 5 rounds, and Moreno didn't look like he wanted it at all.
Yeah, scary. Listen, it's all types of scary. Like I don't know. I can't respect that. And once again, I'm sure that he's a heck of a fighter. Once again, I can never beat him. He would 2-piece me up. Maybe 2-piece me up, 3-piece me up, 10-piece me up if I got in the octagon with him. So I don't want to speak like I am better because I damn sure I'm damn sure not better than him. But for someone who is a prize fighter, for someone who is the creme de la creme, he's one of the best in the world. He looked, everyone got a plan until they get hit, and that's what happened to Magny. That's what happened to the girl that Zhang beat. Everyone has a plan. Oh, Amanda Lemos, yeah. Amanda Lemos, you got a plan.
I'm surprised that lasted the way it did, especially with the way Zhang Weili was doing her thing, because it looked like was a second round where she dropped her and then beat the crap out of her.
Shout out to the Asian community.
She's not.
Well, no, they was in full effect Saturday night too, and they didn't care about the main event. They was like once she won, they was like, all right, like they could care less. But they were there, and they had the flags out there, and she did her thing, and I was like, wow, like she's really good, and I'm sure Lemos is good too, but it was just like I say, it just wasn't her night, and it showed. And
if you can look this up, it's Joanna. I can't say her last name. It's like Jedrzejczyk or whatever. Watch that fight, because that's when she was kind of defending it, and she pummeled the crap out of this woman. Her face was like popping out after like the first or second round. I believe it was that one. If not, it's the Rose Namajunas, but I believe it's the Joanna girl. Yeah, it was the Joanna girl. Her face is like swollen after the first round.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, listen, but that was crazy. But like I said, overall, really good night from what I saw. Once again, I didn't see every fight, but the Ian Gary fight, the strawweight championship fight, and then the main event, you gained a new fan. I'm glad that I got a chance to see that in person. Once again, Sean O'Malley, you're clearly welcomed in Boston forever. Like they were on. That crowd was absolutely on fire for him, and I didn't get. I mean, I guess apparently Sterling had been talking crazy trash, which is why he was getting booed the way he got booed.
That's what he does.
But I'm like, what is he supposed to say? He's going to beat me. I hope I have a chance. Like people kill me with that shit. What are you supposed to say? Especially in that field. What are you supposed to say? Man, I hope I have a chance against this guy. Like I hope that I can get a few punches in. No, he's a promoter. He's a self-promoter because he has to promote the fight. So of course he's gonna say, I'm gonna beat this guy's ass or I'm gonna make him, bow down, whatever. Like, duh. But it just once again, it didn't happen that way. Once again, he shout out to Mike Tyson, and I said this a few moments ago, but I'll say it again. Everyone has a plan until they get hit. Period. So that's what it is. So everyone has a plan until they get hit. So, but like I said, shout out to UFC 292, Boston. You were a great crowd. I never want to work one again. I'll tell you that.
Why not? Is this because it ran late?
No, but between the running late, not exaggeration. Within an hour and a half, there had to be about 7 or 8 fights that we broke up. Not exaggeration.
I believe it.
So I was like, dog, this is insane. I said, the money y'all paid to come see this, and you fighting over, whose nachos it is, or how many Trulies you had earlier. Like, what are we what are we talking about? So yeah, I never. I don't love it. Even working WWE events ain't great either. When I went to Raw in March, somebody punched the hell out of a cop. I'm talking about rock that man's jaw, and I seen it because I was about 3 or 4 rows over, and I was like, well, what's the next match? So I was just nothing I can do. I just sat there. It was like, oh wow, that's so it's going to end up bad for that guy, and it did because they dragged him down the stairs. And once again, people can say what they want about that. Man, wasn't that the Boys in Blue wasn't wrong that night? Because once again, you rock me in my jaw, I'm dragging your ass too. So
I mean, shout out to Shay too, because he was watching some Mexican wrestling, and I'm pretty sure that was legit, and that looked actually pretty cool.
Yeah, Luchador, yeah. That's where you know Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio
yes,
came
sir. The 617.
Yeah, 619, but so 617.
Right.
Yeah. So that's crazy. But yeah, I'm all set. Like SmackDown comes here to Boston in 2 weeks, I think. So I'm contemplating if I want to work it because people get crazy, and I'm just like I want no parts of it. So I'm all set. So
whatever. Float your boat.
Yeah, no, I'm listen. I'd rather pay for my ticket, get in there, and then say, all right, y'all have a good night. So, but we'll transition from that. So, like I said, it was a great time. So, last but not least, we talked a little bit about this off the air before coming on. I don't know if this was a debate, but this is something that we had talked about because we're both fans of college football. We will get into that some more this season. We did talk about a lot of college football early on because we were just trying everything, but we will get back to that because we do know about it. It's just a matter of carving out that time to connect about it. So yeah, we're now in 2023, and so since the year 2000, we wanted to get into who did you think were the best team or best teams, since 2000. Once again, you can do it as a top 3. You can have a top 5. You can have honorable mentions. I really feel like we're going to have honorable mentions. But yeah, floor is yours, brother. Who do you see as the best team, and then who did you have as maybe your top 3 or top 5 as best teams from 2000 to now?
Well, obviously, I'm a Canes fan, so I'm picking the 0-1 Canes beating anybody. I mean, if you think about it, Sean Taylor, RIP, was on special teams because he could not get a starting spot. Sean Taylor, the
Mhm.
hardest hitter I've ever seen, and he couldn't start. He was on special teams as a freshman. Same thing. I believe same thing as Antro Roll. So I got the 0-1 Canes beating anyway. I don't care about the 2019 Joey Burrow LSU squad. That 0-1 Canes team is beating the shit out of anybody on that team. I don't care what anyone says. Honorable mentions. I'll go with the 0-4 Trojans. I feel like they're very powerful team. Obviously, Reggie Bush is the cheat code. Matt Leinart is part of a long lineage of USC quarterbacks that are only good at USC, not in the pros. So
Yep.
shout out to him. Dwayne Jarrett, Steve Smith, not the Steve Smith we think of, the Steve Smith on the Giants. He played at USC. They had Lendell White.
Yep.
I gotta think because I'm thinking of like other. I think Ray Maluga was a freshman at that time. I know he was on that defense. So I'll give that one. I will also give an honorable mention to your Gators. I'll give you an honorable mention on that one. I'll give you the 06 Gators because just because of what happened with Ohio State and everyone was thinking Ohio State was going to beat them. I actually thought too. And then obviously
Mhm.
we see Ted Ginn run it, the opening kickoff. I thought they were done. Plus, I really didn't trust Chris Leak at that time. And I was just a kid.
Yeah.
Because I really thought that Chris Leak was not that good. He
I
was
mean,
just there.
I mean, obviously, he didn't turn to be a great pro, so that makes
Nah,
sense.
I feel like that was your weakest link there. So I'll get an honorable mention, and then I guess the Joey Burrow squad, just because everyone talks about it as an
Mm.
honorable mention.
So as a fan, I mean, to me, like I said, it's the it's the 08 Gators. Once again, I hate that Urban Meyer left. Once again, we had something going down there. We would have been the next dynasty, in my opinion, because guys would have still kept coming down there. But it is what it is. But once again, shout out to Tebow, Norris Jenkins, all them guys, like Hernandez, all that. Shout out to them.
Say Tebow's name right, sir.
But Tebow, whoa,
There you go.
Tebow. So yeah, shout out to my guy, my birthday twin, Tim Tebow. Once again, people, you can say, what you feel about him in the NFL and that he underperformed. Fine, whatever. But in college, that man was special. That's not an opinion. That's a fact.
I watched the Swamp Kings. That I'm telling you,
Yeah,
linchpin of that Florida team. If he's not there, if
yeah,
he
facts.
commits to Alabama, that team's off the rails. They're not winning 2 championships. I'm just
So,
saying.
um, the 05 Texas team, they would. And I know, I get it. I know how people feel about the Canes. Whether you're a fan of the Canes or not, like most people hold that 01 team in high regard, and they should. Once again, so much NFL talent, like that's not
It's
debatable.
like 17 or 23
Yeah,
draft
yeah,
picks, first rounders.
Ironically, your quarterback was the weakest link too, because Ken Dorsey.
I mean,
I mean, hey,
they're
Ken,
better
Ken,
than Chris Leak, but all right.
Ken Dorsey was not. That's why I'm like, hey, he's not the guy that people made him out to be. I was like, he's not. He was okay. But I mean, yeah, he definitely he's the definition of I have phenomenal talent around me. Like I just don't have to fuck this up. Just don't fuck it up, and we're gonna win. And that's exactly what.
I mean, if he actually he didn't have to throw any touchdown passes, we would have went 8-4.
Right. So think about that. Think about that. You still going to a bowl game, right? But obviously not one of the big because at that time there wasn't no college football playoffs. But you're still going to a bowl game without that. So think about how crazy that is, right? But yeah, listen, that 05 Texas team I think would have gave them a run for their money. May not beat them, but damn, like that. When we think about, you just talked about it. That USC team, that USC team. Listen, and I don't care whatever list y'all have, because I've seen this on some other page and I forget. I wish I had brought it up because I knew we were talking about this tonight. I don't know how y'all could look at Reggie Bush at USC and not say that's the best college football player of all time. I don't get it. Excuse me. I understand those that saw the Pony Express. Shout out to SMU. That's a great 30 for 30.
Yeah, good one.
Shout out to Earl Campbell. Shout out to Ricky Williams. Shout out to Ron Dane. Former Giant legend.
Oh God, Ron Dane. No, don't say that name.
Hey, shout out to Eddie George, Archie Griffin, Charles Woodson, whatever. Like whoever you want to go through.
Portis, Willis McGahee.
Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, whatever. Like I don't know how you see what he did on the field at the Fresno State game, and I get it. Fresno State was never a team that we like, oh my God. But just to see what he made other men bow down literally on the field. Like the man went one way to the other way. He went from the window to the wall of the football field, and he made people look stupid on a 60-yard run that once again happened damn near 20 years ago, and you never forget it because you're like, oh my God, I've never seen something like this on the field. And once again, if he doesn't have certain injuries, if he doesn't get knocked the fuck out by Sheldon Brown in his first playoff game in 2006, you're looking at Reggie Bush a lot different. And once again, he still won a Super Bowl. He still played 8 or 9 years in the league.
I think he's the only Detroit Lions rusher for 1,000 yards. I don't think anyone's broken that in Detroit yet, which is kind of sad. Unless I'm wrong.
Oh, you mean since Barry? Because I was like,
no. Reggie Bush is the last Detroit Lion to run for 1,000 yards.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's beat him.
Damn, what's his name? Oh my God, why am I? We just talked about him on a show recently because we
I don't think it was Jamal Williams. That's what you're thinking.
Really? No, he broke the touchdown record. That's what it was.
Bro, the touchdown for Bears. Yeah. I don't think anybody's rushed for 1,000 yards in Detroit.
A lot of their running backs got hurt though. Like a lot of the guys.
Javid Best.
Like Swift. Javid Best. Wow. I forgot about him.
Cal right there.
Yeah. Damn. What's Buddy's name from Georgia that we thought was going to be a problem? Oh, that's awful. What's his name from Georgia?
I think DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift. Like I thought that he was going to be. I thought he was going to be the next guy. I thought he was going to.
He was scared. If you watch the Hard Knocks, he's scared of going through the holes. Even Deuce Staley's like yelling at him to go through the holes. Like you got to be aggressive, and he wasn't doing it.
I mean, listen, Deuce, you were my guy. Y'all was my team on Madden. You, Brian Westbrook, Brian Mitchell, Freddie Mitchell, James Thrash, Todd Pinkston, LJ
Larry
Smith,
Johnson.
So I'm like, that y'all was my squad, but he ain't you, Deuce. Sorry, that's not that he wasn't built like that, but it's okay. But yeah, I said I say that to say I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. And once again, for those that if you watch this or when you watch this on YouTube, if you listen on via audio, I don't know how Reggie Bush to me, the man was unreal.
Jonathan Bell was cracking him right there.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it's like to think. And I'm like to think about Lendell White being behind him, and Lendell White would have started on most teams, on most D1 squads. And he was behind him, and they were legit thunder and lightning. I know other nicknames have happened. That's been given to other running back tandems. No, they were literally thunder and lightning. Lendell White was running your ass over. And then I said Reggie Bush literally was the most elusive back I seen. Once again, if people want to say maybe Barry Sanders, Oklahoma State, cool. Okay, I'm not. I will never slander Barry Sanders. So if you say that Barry Sanders is the best guy you saw at or even Michael Vick, right? If you say Michael Vick at Virginia Tech, that run against Boston College, Jesus, it's just like I'm like, yo, this is why Boston College sucks at football. Like we can never get a guy that I said we can't get a guy like this. We can never get an athlete like this ever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we had Flutie, but I'm like, shit. Like, and, hey, Alexa, hi Alexa. I know you were in real life. We went to school together. I'm not knocking that. That is by far the best athlete that ever came through BC. But like I said, Michael Vick is Michael Vick.
Wow, not Matt Ryan, huh?
But yeah, I mean, listen, we haven't been relevant really since Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan had his number 2 in the country. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then they blew it. You know, at the end, but yeah, he blew it. Or not even him, the coaching blew it. Because like I said, Matt Ryan deserved, I think to win a few awards that year, but it just didn't unfold that way, unfortunately. But yeah, man, like I don't know, but yeah, Reggie Bush to me, I'm trying to think who else, but I'm trying to think of the other teams. What year? Got to go with the maybe either the 2012 or 2013, whatever year had Trent Richardson on Alabama.
Yeah, I was like 2012, 13 era.
Listen, that run, and that was we'll always remember it. That run, he thought he would. The defender thought he was going out of bounds. He went whoop whoop, and so ran to the end zone. I was like, wow. Once again, you made AJ McCarron look like John Elway.
I mean, you could say the same for Greg McElroy too.
Him too. Yep. So you made.
It's funny when in the Swamp Kings they were. I remember too. I watched that game. I think I was a sophomore in high school.
Mm-hmm.
When Greg McElroy was running it, I believe it was like 10 yards and fell. I think 3 yards short of the end zone. They were saying it was Tebow-esque with the run. And I was like, ugh, Greg and McElroy. Now let me ask you this though:
reckless.
If you guys beat Alabama. Okay, if you guys beat them in the SEC champ game, you obviously go on. Tim Tebow swears you would have won back-to-back championships. If you defeated Alabama that year, does Alabama's dynasty even start?
Yeah.
Or do they get deflated?
No, yes. It just would have been later. Yeah, it would have happened still. It just like I said, we would have got the run that we deserved. I think it would have been us and them. Like they just happened to just take off completely.
Like, do you feel like you would steal their recruits? Like, do you feel like they would come over to Florida instead of going to Alabama
and then flee up to Columbus? And yeah, absolutely. Once again, that 2018 was stacked. What? So I'll tell you. You know that you probably know this because people joke about you and I being encyclopedias of certain sports, and we are because we just follow them there everything. People don't remember Cam Newton was on that was a freshman on that Florida team.
You do see him in the Swamp Kings doc. You just see him. He doesn't talk or anything.
And well, never mind. I almost put someone's business out there. I'm not gonna do that. I know. Never mind. But shout out to Cam. I'm not there. Whew, sorry. I almost told on somebody. Not gonna do that. But shout out to Cam Newton. Shout out. Like he was on that team and. I was like, wow, just think about that. Like Cam Newton became the most dominant force in college football for a year. That 2010 Auburn team, they don't even sniff.
Absolutely not. Michael Dyer's not winning you a ship.
They don't sniff the championship without Cam being there. So
why wouldn't Urban Meyer use him the way he used Tebow? Because you could essentially do that with Cam Newton, goal line situations. If you don't want to hurt Tebow the way like that, use it.
So I know some more to the story, like real life, because I know someone that was around. So like there was something happened off the field that why Cam ended up getting let go from Florida, and I'll just leave it at that.
Dude, there was Urban Meyer said he believed in second chances on the Swamp Kings thing, and there was people. What was it?
I'm telling you.
It was like something. What was your running back's name? It was something Brown.
I don't know why.
He was like 5'5" or whatever, like 5'7".
I know exactly who you're talking about. I just can't.
Yeah, that dude he got arrested for trying to get weed.
Yep.
And then Urban Meyer knows about it and keeps him on the team. Like, people were like doing stuff like that,
What?
where
No.
they were gun
It
charges and stuff,
it
and they
was,
were
it
staying
was,
on the
it
team.
was a
So,
little more. It was a little more than that. Once again,
all
I,
right. I mean, I'm just saying.
I
I think
can't.
if that
Yeah,
happened
I
too, I
can't.
don't think Urban Meyer retires in 2010. You got Cam Newton
No
waiting in
fact.
the
No facts.
wings.
Facts. Like I said, I don't want to share the story, but like, I know for sure. Yeah, I know someone that was around the team. They they mentioned to me that it was some other stuff that went down why Cam wasn't on the team. So once again, maybe one day we get famous and I talk about it, but not now. But yeah, so that was that. But I think about that team. I think about let me see what else. Did Oklahoma get one at all while we there? No, they lost to Boise State, right? That's what it was. They lost to Boise State. And
Oklahoma's never really been a winner except for the only time, which was against Florida when they lost with Sam Bradford. They've never really won a
right,
title.
gotcha. Okay, cool. Because I was wondering when if they had got there. I know
Nah, it's mostly been like Alabama, the
yeah,
one Ohio, the
yeah,
Ohio State.
yeah. And I joked about like obviously like the latest LSU run, yeah, they deserve to be on the list. Once again, I would never say they were number one. Just
Yeah, it's an honorable mention just because that one season.
yeah, they were crazy that year. I mean, once again, I mean they have had other years that they were extremely talented. Excuse me.
I
But
would
yeah,
take a Jamarcus Russell LSU team over them. I mean, shoot, Matt Flynn was was there on one of those squads. I can't think of his first name, but his last name was Jefferson when they went up against Alabama in the title game and lost like 13-6. They had that kind of type of quarterback, and he really wasn't that good. But it was
yeah.
just solely because of
Yeah,
defense.
they had a rough run at it too. I know even New England had drafted a quarterback from LSU a few years back. Danny Etlin.
Oh my
And
God, Danny Etlin, Jesus.
that guy literally had like one preseason highlight, and they like literally cut him like the next week. It was ridiculous, wild. So I'm like, I said, here we go. So wow, but yeah, no, like I said, leave your thoughts below as to who you think is the greatest team since 2000. If you even want to go before, then that's fine. Even talk about who the greatest college football player. I know people think, people might say Charles Woodson. People might say, Earl Campbell. Uh, people may say, people might even say
People
someone
say
like Vince.
Tebow. People say
Yes,
Tebow,
yes.
Vince
No,
Young.
Tim Tebow.
I've seen a few Bakers, but not like a lot.
No way, no way,
Yeah, it's
no way,
weird.
no
People are
way.
weird.
Listen, and once again, if you say if people have Baker, you have to say Johnny Manziel too. Like Johnny Manziel was better in college than Baker Mayfield was.
Facts. He didn't even
So,
study a playbook.
come on. Listen, when he did it, you could not tell me that Johnny Manziel was not the next guy. When he ran circles around Alabama, I was like, oh, like this guy, he's Flutie 2.0. At the worst, he'll be a backup, but I'm like, he's going to be really good for a few years, and then maybe if it
And
doesn't
that
work
was
out,
just all skill set. That
yeah,
wasn't just reading playbooks.
yeah,
Like it amazes me what Cliff Kingsbury didn't do with him or tried to help him, or even Kevin Sumlin. It just amazes me.
yeah. I mean, but yeah, it's a special talent. But like I said, the Vince Jones of the world, Cams. Um, I'm trying to think who else people really think that were like. It's like wow. Even before that era that we were really watching.
I mean, you could say Matt Leinart too, just because of what he's done, Heisman wise, championships. But
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
people just look at the accolades.
yeah. And it's hard because I have to go back because once again um I hated USC at that time, hated them.
Oh God, yeah.
Once again,
Oh God, I hate their fans at that time too. I knew a guy and he was
love
just
Reggie Bush,
obnoxious.
love Reggie, but I hated USC. And once again, probably I think because like my older one of my older brothers, he is the biggest Notre Dame fan. So
Ugh.
he grew up in the but you got he's older than both of us. So, but he grew up in the Tim Brown era, Jerome Bettis, Rocket Ismail, like that era. So that he in his mind, and I get it, they were phenomenal under Lou Holtz at that time. So I get it. But I'm just like, I remember that goal line touchdown that Matt Lyon had out there. I forget what year that was. And I was
that
like,
was their Vince Young year. That was the 05 because I think if Notre Dame won that game, they were going to the championship or something like that.
Yeah.
That's why they were all freaking out with the Charlie Weiss era.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if anyone can beat this team. I remember after that, it was so close. I was like, I don't know if this team ever loses. And like I said, it took, to me, that's the greatest game in a championship game ever, in my opinion. The amount of back and forth that game, the amount of emotion that was involved in that game. And for Vince Young to have the game in his hands and he wins it on that touchdown, which was just incredible. So yeah,
if he played any of the 01 Canes, they would have stopped that. DJ Williams would have got him, or even Ed Reed. Ed Reed would definitely get him.
Even just the next year, I mean, I forget how many starters had left, and then a lot of guys came back, or the guys that were backed us was there. I mean, the next year, I mean, once again, I troll about the 02 Ohio State, but I mean, they to me, they were a good team, but I was like, they had better teams at Ohio State than the team that won in 02. Like, I feel like the team that had Zeke and them on it, like, I feel like that team was better than the team that won in 2002. I just think that, once again, lightning strikes for a day, and that's what happened that particular night. But yeah, like, I don't know, but there was no one stopping Vince Young that night. So that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you're just in a different zone, and that's what he was at that night. Like, he could do no wrong. And once again, Vince Young was a big boy. It wasn't like he wasn't Johnny Manziel out there. He was 6'5", good 230, 235. Like, he was out there giving people work. And it's a shame that Mr. Mediocre himself, Jeff Fisher, ruined that man's career. Ruined it. Because him and Lendell White should have been a very good tenant for years to come down there, and it didn't happen. Like, it's unfortunate. I thought they had something, and they would have had something. Then Vince got his second chance in Philadelphia, but he was damaged goods.
Dream team, baby.
Oh, I remember that comment. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Even though, I mean, Vic was the best version of himself then there. Like, Atlanta, we would look at Atlanta differently if Philly Vic was in Atlanta. We would look at them differently. I firmly believe that. They probably beat Philadelphia in 04 if Vic that was in Philadelphia was in Atlanta at that time. They easily beat.
If they had a receiver besides Algie Crumpler, who was their tight end?
No, but I'm saying the way he was making progressions, the timely runs, because he would just run early in Atlanta. The timely runs, because wasn't
the Andy Reid effect?
Wasn't Michael Jenkins on that team by then? No, I thought he was. Or Roddy White, one of the two.
Roddy White, I think Roddy White either was a rookie that year or he was rookie the next year, because he wasn't there very long.
Gotcha. Okay,
that's why he was throwing to Algie. But come on, Jim Mora? You think Jim Mora Jr. is going to help out Mike Vick?
You know, so that's what I'm saying. You talk about the coach. I'm sorry. The player himself. If Michael Vick was what he was in Philly, in Atlanta,
I mean, you give Deshaun Jackson on Atlanta Vick, and it's pretty damn near possible.
Unreal. Because there was not a person, and unfortunately, you've seen it in action. There was not a person in his prime that could stay in front of Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Jackson. Like, the dude was lethal. That's and Joe Buck don't ever really get excited, like, on a call. Like, the dude was Mr. Mundane, if you ask me, on a call. But he's like, oh, punt goes back to Deshaun Jackson. I was actually shocked at how many people agreed with you on that tweet. I said, damn. I said, y'all won the next year. Y'all won the next year. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, y'all won. It's okay.
Still terrible. Everyone talks about it.
I mean, you had that play. I got the Miami Miracle. That like that. I mean, granted, we ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. That's I was like, yo, I was in Miami at the time. I said, y'all hype about a regular season play. I mean, yeah, it was crazy what happened, but I'm like, I said that the goal was to be standing tall in February, and I said, y'all haven't sniffed that since 1984. What are we talking about? like that blows my mind. Like once again, I tell people this all the time, and I'm gonna say this because it is relevant to the conversation right now. If you're not a Giants or Eagles fan, you can't say nothing to me as a football fan. Maybe let me take that back. Giants, Eagles, Broncos. If you're not one of them three fan bases, you can't say that to me. So especially not no Pittsburgh fan, because y'all, I don't care if it's been Drew Bledsoe, I don't care if it's been Tom Brady, I don't care if it's been Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett, whoever. Since I've been alive, y'all have not beat us when it mattered. Once again, I'm not speaking. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm giving you a fact. Yeah, you beat us when we had 121 straight, and you got us in week 8 that year. But I always ask you, Pittsburgh fans, and you guys get amnesia when I ask you this: what happened in the AFC Championship game? Because I remember Deion Branch beating your safety on a single high coverage, and he's scoring when y'all would say that Brady couldn't throw deep at that time, and he burned him for 65 yards. Just saying. Once again, not an opinion. I'm only speaking facts. Once again, another fact for you, right? Because we bring this up. Randy Moss scored what should have been the winning touchdown, but it was that. Once again, that's not an opinion. That's fact. But because of our corners not being able to do what they were supposed to do, and Plaxico Burress and David Tyree had made phenomenal plays, we don't speak about the undefeated season. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's what happened. Like let's speak what actually happened and not hypotheticals. That's all I want. Let's just speak. So if you're not the Giants, Eagles, or Broncos, teams that have actually beat New England in the playoffs multiple times. Also,
it's really just the Giants. I mean, Eagles, they lost.
The playoffs matter. Like
that's what I'm saying. The playoffs, they lost the Super Bowl to you, and then they won. So they
so I get it. So I'm like, yeah. So sorry. Once again, so Chris, my boy Chris, and my boy AC, I forgot y'all too. The Ravens, because the Ravens struck the stroke. And Patriots fans, you're lying if you don't say this. There's not a team, even more so the Giants. There's not a team that caused more fear in your heart than the Baltimore Ravens. I don't care who was on their roster. I don't care who was playing, because you always felt that they could come into New England and win, because they had it a couple times. I think you were there the year. I think you were there the year that we got them.
If you're talking about Lee Evans, yes.
Yes. Yeah. That was insane. Shout out to Sterling Moore. Shout out to Sterling Moore. Because I was like, woo. And then Billy C, what happened, baby? 22 yards, wide left. Scott, I was like, Scott Norwood, let's get it. I was happy.
Yeah, for about 2 weeks.
Man, listen, Scott, who was it? I don't know if you knew Will O'Leary. Will O'Leary.
Yeah, I know he is.
Jumped on me like it was the first time I was going to the Super Bowl. I mean, we were ecstatic though. We was like, man, we hadn't been back in a few years. Like, okay. I think by that time we knew it was y'all. I think no, y'all was the next game.
No.
Yep.
It was the night game because we were in San Fran.
Yeah. It was you and K-Son down there.
It was really just me at first. I was the only one watching in the corner, and then people started coming over.
Yeah, I was like, wow. So, but yeah, man, miss some days in Boomers, man. Shout out to them days. That was a great time. To be alive and the memories.
One of the only true Giants fans there.
Yeah. Yep. So I was like, man, what a time. Hev was too, but I think Hev had already left by that time. because he always brings up 2011 and 07 to me when he can. So I'm like, here we go. So, but we do get y'all this year. We see y'all Thanksgiving weekend. So I'm excited about that. I think it's at your house. It's at MetLife. So
Is I oh yes, because the last time we played was at Gillette. That's right.
yeah, yep. So but yeah, so I'm like, wow, I'm like, this is cool. We 90 minutes in. I not think we get to 90 minutes, but hey, here we are. I'm here for it. So any last words before we get into final words?
Nothing for the college football, so I'll just go into my last words. Today is the anniversary death of Huey P. Newton, or should I say Dr. Huey P. Newton. He's got a great book called Revolutionary Suicide. If you ever want to read it, it's a great book. Love it. As always, Black people matter.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Listen, I didn't say it at the beginning, but I'll say it now. We have it on the ticker now. So as you see, we've changed platforms. We're now on StreamYard. So we do have something in the works. So we can't share it, so it's actually official, but we do have something that's in the works, so you'll be able to see us on a larger platform sooner rather than later. So we thank you to those that have been listening to us from the beginning. We are approaching our 3-year anniversary. So myself, Aaron, Shay, we thank you for holding it down, for listening to us. If you have not subscribed on YouTube, this is your invitation to do so. The information is at the bottom of your screen. It's coming across in red and white. So for those that are watching on YouTube, you'll see all that. And then, like I said, we'll have it in the show notes as well. So continue to support, continue to spread the word, because regardless of what they say, word of mouth is still the best way to spread information. So he's Hollywood, AK Hollywood Aaron Cass. I'm Hollywood Richard Buchanan. Until next time, we'll see you. Peace.